What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Just back again with another video. This is your one-stop shop for anime and manga. Let's get into it. Alright, y'all. Thank you to everyone's been watching. If you're new here and you like my content and you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so you don't post another video. Also, follow me on Twitter. Link's gonna be in the description. Alright, y'all. So today I finally did it. I finally completed all of Dorohedoro. And I gotta tell you, I truly love this series. It's so good. And like I promised, once I read through it all, yeah, we're gonna get a review on it. That's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna try and keep this review as spoiler free as possible because I really do believe going into Dorohedoro completely blind is probably just the best way to do it because everything just falls into place eventually as you read along with the series. Dorohedoro is 23 volumes long and is about a guy called Kaimon who has a lizard head and no memory. So the entire series is basically him trying to figure out who he is, what he is, and everything in between because he has no memory of who he is. He just woke up one day and he has a lizard for a head, and his best friend Nakaido, she just is with him. She's trying to figure out who he is as well. Overall, the series takes place in two realms. You got the sorcerer's realm and then you got the whole, which is essentially just the human realm, and that's where everything pops off because all of the sorcerers, what they do is they go to the whole, which is the human realm, and they practice their magic. So in the whole, everyone is worried about these sorcerers because they just bust through with their little teleportation doors and they practice and they hurt these people. Obviously, the people of the whole do not like this whatsoever. So Kaimon and Nakaido, what they do is they hunt down these sorcerers, not only to protect the people, but the real reason is because they want to find out who Kaimon really is and what happened to him because he has a lizard head, so that means a sorcerer has something to do with it. The whole series is basically one big mystery of them just trying to figure out who Kaimon is. Nakaido is trying to help him out as best as she can. She has, some things that you have to find out while you read through, and it's just a crazy ride because you don't really know what's going on. Every moment they throw a little hint at you, and you think, can it be this? Then it turns out they flip it on you. It's very good in that way because it's a true mystery. I really do recommend this series if you want a mystery and not just your typical mystery where it's like a Sherlock Holmes type of adventure where you have to solve clues and things like that. This is completely standalone. All I can say is, without spoiling, is just you don't know what's gonna go on. Every time you think you're gonna know what's gonna happen, something else happens, and it's just a real great way of just pulling you in. I really could not stop reading the manga. I just kept reading and reading. I took my time. But I always wanted to know what was going to happen in the next volume, and it just pushed me to finish it even sooner. So that's the overall plot of the series. Is basically Kaimon and Nakaido just going about their day, killing sorcerers when they come to the hole, and then them just trying to figure out, okay, who is Kaimon? Because Nakaido just found him in the alleyway, and he had a lizard head. So I don't want to spoil too much about the series. That's all basically in the first volume, what I'm just talking about right now. So I do highly recommend you read it if that sounds interesting to you. One of the things that really drew me to this series was the fact of the artwork. So the art is just incredible. Now, this artwork is not as refined and like detailed as you would see other manga series. This one is very good, but it's unique in its own way because this series is a lot more grunge, is a lot more like downright down and dirty type of detail, and it just looks amazing. It's just incredible how much detail you could get in something that is so complex. Even the arts, like the clothes, everything like that is just so complex. You got buckles everywhere, spikes everywhere. It's really interesting how the art just takes over the entire series because the art and the background and everything just really immerses you in because you really feel like it's almost like this dystopian type of world where the whole is like really run down while the sorcerer's realm is more put together. But because the Sorcerer's Realm is on edge too, is like everything just looks amazing. I wish I could show y'all what it looks like, but I do highly recommend this artwork. It's just incredible how you could get so much detail in things that are not necessarily refined. Another thing that I truly do love about the series was the cast of characters. There really was no bad character that I really thought. There was no character that I just wish wasn't there, or any character that I really think shouldn't have been there. Every character, they eventually do have their place. They do eventually, you see what goes on, like what their path is. And I do like how they take time to flesh out all of these characters. There was a couple characters. There's about like maybe 5 or 6 like true main characters in the series. And in that, you get all of their backstories. You get everything that's fleshed out. You get to see who they are, and you get to really grow with these characters as you read. So like I mentioned, Dorohedoro is just a 23 volume long mystery, but don't get me wrong, there is plenty of action. It is so good. The action is just so detailed. I love, even though it's sorcerers and they use magic, there's plenty of people that use hand-to-hand combat. Kaimon specifically, he's a edge weapon specialist, and he just goes out and he just cuts down everything. The series can get a little graphic. There is an explicit content label on it for that reason, but it's just incredible. If you're of age, definitely pick this up because you're going to like the action. It gets pretty gruesome at times. It gets a little grotesque at times, but it's just all good, all fun, and just the detail that you see in everything is just incredible. That's another thing I love. Like I said about that art, everything is detailed and everything follows the same flow. Nothing really feels out of place. Easily my favorite part of the entire series was the more slice of life moments. So throughout the chapters, there's like a few chapters in every volume, especially in the beginning, where it's a lot more slice of life, where it's just Kaimon, Nakaido, and some of the other characters. They're doing whatever they do throughout their daily lives. They're not hunting no one. They're not fighting no one. There's really a few chapters in here that it's just them living their life. And I really think that just pulls the world together. One thing I truly like about Dorohedoro is just the world building aspect in general. The world building is really immersive. You really feel like this could be a real place, that these are real people, because you see some of their daily life things. You see some of that slice of life stuff where Kaimon is just going to the store. He just wants to go to a diner and get some food. Nakaido's cooking for him. That's really it. They didn't go hunting for any sorcerers. They didn't go, do some investigation. They're just chilling, living their lives until the clues come up and they have to take action. But that's sprinkled in there sporadically, and I do like that it doesn't overtake the series in general. It's probably like 1 or 2 chapters in every few or so volumes until you get to the end. Once you get to like volume 20 of Dorohedoro, that's when it's just non-stop action. It's just crazy. Everything just happens all at once. That's when the story just picks up, and that's when all of these series just become this gargantuan beast. So if you see Dorohedoro, you'll see a lot of the memes where, if you even see behind me, they're really small. They're not that big. But then you get to like after 20, they all just start getting double what they were. So I don't understand that part. I do like how the slice of life stuff is sprinkled in there throughout the series, because especially in the beginning, it's nice, it's cool to really immerse yourself and see what these characters are really like when they're not just battling, or when they're not trying to find out what the mystery is. And what I really do like about Dorohedoro, especially in the beginning, are those like slice of life aspects. Obviously, once it gets to, I think about volume, I want to say like 19 or 20, it's just boom, non-stop action. There's no more slice of life. They just going hard. They're trying to figure out and come to the end of the series, and the ending is really good. I think it does pay off in general. I'll be honest, a lot of endings in anime and manga I'm not really the biggest fan of, because I just feel like a lot of the endings, they always feel either rushed or they just don't come together the way they're supposed to. But Dorohedoro really does come together, I think, pretty well. One of the best I've seen and best I've read in general. So that's another pro for it. I can't believe Dorohedoro basically just comes together in a bow, I guess you could say. Obviously, Dorohedoro is not perfect by any means. There are some basic, generic, anime manga tropes that are in every series that you may get tired of depending on how many times you've seen them. But one thing that I really didn't like about Dorohedoro was how confusing Kaimon's character can get. The whole mystery of the manga series is Kaimon tries to find out who he is. So he has no memory. He's trying to find out who he is. Once you get towards the back 3 or 4 volumes of the series, that's when they start finding out who Kaimon really is, and it can get very confusing. I don't really like it too much. I did have to go back and reread some of the chapters, even reread some of the volumes, because I got a little bit confused, because it's like they go basically his backstory, and then they also go to the present, and it's like there's not really that little bubble where it says in the present, or in the little bubble that says now. It's just they shift, and you have to know about what he's wearing and things like that. Like, oh, this is back in the day, so this is not what's going on currently. So you can get a little confused, and even just the explanation of like who he is in general can get a little confusing. Like, you really, especially while you're reading it. So while you're reading it, it can get really confusing. But towards the end, once you like actually finish all 23 volumes, you sit back and you actually think, oh, it did make sense here, and you connect the dots yourself. but while you're reading it and you don't know the entire story, it's a little confusing. That's both a positive and a negative, I think, because it's positive for the mystery aspect because you never really know what's going to go on. But the negative part is it doesn't make sense at the current moment that you're reading it because you don't know the whole story. So they're really good at feeding you just these little bits of clues and keeping you guessing, but it doesn't make sense at the current time that you're reading each volume. It's only, okay, this makes sense when I tie it back to the previous volume and things like that, that now everything's making sense. I'm trying really hard not to give any spoilers about Dorohedoro. Basically, like I said, the entire 23 volume series is about these two characters on their journey to find out why his face is a lizard and why he has no memory. And also finding out what sorcerer specifically is the one that did it to him. Because like I said, we know a sorcerer did it to him because they're the only ones that go to the human world and they just mess with the humans. So that's the entire series. That's the basic main plot. But there's a whole bunch of little plots, especially when you see and meet the other characters. The magical abilities is so incredible. I like some of them, the more unique ones that they have. They do have, basic generic magic abilities as well. But even the basic generic ones, they work so good and they work together in the world. Dorohedoro is like a crazy mix of genres. You got the nice battle action shonen. You got the little slice of life moments. You got the nice, incredible mystery of it all. And it's all wrapped up together with just incredible artwork. The world building is, I think, what will draw people in the most is how immersive when you're reading it, you really get into this world. You really believe like the whole is real. You really believe the sorcerer's realm is real. And you're just going to fall in love with these other characters. You definitely going to love a few of them. And I got a few of my favorite characters. Let me know down in the comments if you read Dorohedoro, who's your favorite. I'll let y'all know who's mine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been my review on Dorohedoro. I try not to give any spoilers. I hope I did a good job on that. So, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so you don't post another video. This is your boy Just. I'm off this.